High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/varsitymedia. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
The road to a Long Island championship rolls through Hofstra. From Hofstra University, the St. John the Baptist Cougars take on the Chaminade Flyers on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Today's game is sponsored by Catholic Health. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. Alongside Rob Anderson, I'm John Perez. And Rob, this is the best time of the year. It's championship season, particularly for Chaminade and St. John the Baptist. These two teams have met over the last few years, and Chaminade has got the better handle of it, but this is a St. John the Baptist team of destiny.
They are a team that's got those Williams brothers there. They got energy. They lost 2, and we know that the third time's always a charm in any sport. Chaminade tested. They've been here a million times before. But we're going to have a battle on our hands this evening. And
Chaminade's done a lot of things well this year, but the one thing that no team has done in over a decade has win back-to-back titles. And with that said, let's take a look at the journey and how we got here to this point. Chaminade has run roughshod through the NSCHSAA. They're the top seed. They dropped 102 points on St. Mary's, the number 4 seed. Meanwhile, St. John the Baptist, actually 3 playoff wins because they were on the out bracket. They're clicking at the right time, Robert.
As you said, it's a Cinderella story. You know, this team getting past St. Anthony. St. Anthony's also defeating Chaminade in their last matchup, and Chaminade just absolutely beating teams up, beating up St. Mary's. Hope they're not a little too overconfident in a game like today.
Well, confidence breeds a lot, especially when it comes to St. John the Baptist. And 2 of the most confident ball handlers on the floor, it's the Williams brothers, Steven and Christian.
Yeah, when you look at these two out of North Babylon, Christian can put up some points, 10.3 a game. Steven, big boy, can handle it underneath the net, can handle from shooting from the outside. They're the 2 that we're going to have to watch out for absolutely today.
St. John the Baptist only rolls 6 deep, so they're going to have a lot on their plate. Meanwhile, on the other side for Chaminade, hey, they've got a pair of brothers as well. It is the Dillon brothers. Devin and Kyle Dillon leading the way for the Flyers.
Yeah, you take a look at it, their numbers, points per game, pretty similar. Kyle, the one that gets on those scoring rampages, gets on the tears, but Devin can light it up when his brother's not. They play off each other very well, and having brothers out there, you know, they can see each other in their peripheral, and they get things done offensively.
Well, if these 2 teams are going to win a championship and head on to the state semifinals and finals, Rob, how are they going to do it?
If we take a look at it here, the keys to the game for St. John's Baptist, they want to limit the damage and make sure that they try to beat them in the mid-range. They want to control the pace of the game, and pace of the game is also important to Chaminade. Chaminade wants to keep this team moving, not a very deep bench. They want to tire out those starters and try to get to that bench. Obviously execute ball screen coverage as well, but I think pace and memento is going to dictate it. Whatever team decides they're going to run the pace, the other one's going to suffer.
Yeah, and that's a huge mark at the bottom for Chaminade to speed up St. John the Baptist because they don't have a lot of bench options. These are tired legs, inspired legs, but a little fatigued. These 2 teams are very familiar with each other, and let's look at the last 5 games as Chaminade has won 4 of the last 5 over the Cougars, but You look at that 102-88 victory. Some younger Williams brothers on the team and a young DJ Lisbon. Jake Ellis said that while Chaminade is the best team in the league to this point, they're not unbeatable. And even though they've won 4 of the last 5, it's been pretty close games throughout.
Yeah, if you take a look at that last meeting, 77-69, and it was St. John the Baptist very close throughout the entire game. It was a fourth quarter pull away from Chaminade that created that space. That game was close all the way through. And again, 3 times in the meetings, not always an easy situation for the team that wins.
It's packed to the gills here at Hofstra University. The buzz is palpable. There we are, and we're ready for the start of the game as well. It's the St. John the Baptist Cougars and the Chaminade Flyers coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life, and now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. We're set to go from Hofstra, St. John the Baptist, and Chaminade for our entire Varsity Media crew. And Rob Anderson, I'm John Perez. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Tuesday night. It is the NSCHSAA title bout, and let's meet the starting 5 for the visitors on the scoreboard. Cinderella themselves hoping that today does not turn into midnight. It's the Chris Williams and Stevie Williams show, led by Jeremiah Carter and GP Arnone, as well as DJ Lisbon, who's been one of the best defensive players in the NSCHSAA. More on that later. But it's a short team, but very balanced at that, led by Jake Ellis, the head coach for the Cougars.
Yeah, you've got Arnone that can shoot those threes from all different locations. He's a threat if they can get the ball out to him. Play big under the net with the Williams boys. You see one right there. And there's head coach Jake Ellis.
First title appearance as head coach for Ellis, and he'll go up against a starting five for the Flyers bunch, led by the Dillon brothers, Richard Gunther, Joe Naus, and I know one of your favorites, Cam Elliott.
Yeah, Cam Elliott, absolutely one of my favorite to watch. Talk about threes. When that kid gets on fire, he is unstoppable, untouchable. And again, there's so many weapons on this team, including big Joe Naus. We saw him hit a few threes. Despite that size, this team can shoot from anywhere, score from anywhere, and create chaos on the court.
Led by Dan Feeney, the head coach for Chaminade this year, and getting a thumbs up from his supporters. And he said that this year has been a thrill for different reasons. 18-7, 10-2 up until this point. He said that it's just been a good group of kids to coach, and that everyone has bought into their role, and that's a big reason why they're special. And they're looking to become the first team in over a decade to go back-to-back in the NSCHSAA.
As you said, John, it's really important for a coach to know that his players know their role. Ego's all in check. It's about winning, and Coach Feeney has definitely earned the respect of his players, his school, the parents. He knows how to win.
Jeff Harris, Ernest Hamilton III, and Greg Ciceri are three officials today, as DJ Lisbon and Joe Naus are set to tap it up here at Hofstra. The 23-24 NSCHSAA final is underway, and it's the Cougars that win the opening tip. Coming off a 3-point victory at Farmingdale State over St. Anthony's, a 48-45 final, knocking off St. Anthony's, the number 2 seed. St. John the Baptist, win number 4, would give them their first title since 2012, and it's GPR known.
Taking their time with the ball right now, just working that perimeter. Under 10 seconds on the shot clock here.
There's Stevie Williams. Good find to Lisbon, who misses the runner. Collects his own miss and puts it back in. And Lisbon's on the board, the senior from Westbury, and recent post-football commit. And he gives the Cougars a 2-0 advantage.
Gratuitous bounce there as Joe Naus couldn't get a handle on it. And wound up in the hands of Lisbon.
Naus will tee it up and swirls it in. Finally, it goes down for Naus, who's shooting north of 35% from distance and puts the Flyers in front.
Yeah, speaking of the big man, we discussed that right beforehand, that he can hit the threes, and he opens it up. A little ring around the rosy, but 3 on the board for Chaminade. Right now, St. John the Baptist really working the clock.
Here's Williams, tees up a 3 off the back heel, and Elliott collects a long rebound. And one and done go the Cougars. Dillon the kick out. Ricky Gunther flips it. Elliott inside the arc. We saw what he could do from downtown, but misses the runner.
Right now, Chaminade taking it to the net, working out a little bit. Again, a faster pace. St. John's Baptist slowing it down a little bit. Like that was the key to the game, and you can see it happening right now.
Here's Chris Williams. Off to Lisbon and picked up by Gunther. Good coverage by Dillon to cut down the passing lane towards Stevie Williams. Chris Williams, fall away over Cam Elliott is good.
Yeah, Arnaud a couple times had that ball in his hand, looked like he had time and space to shoot. But again, St. John's the Baptist being very deliberate with the ball.
Underneath there is Devin Dillon, the 6'1 senior from Bayside. He led the way with 20 points in the win over St. Mary's in the semifinals. 102 points for Chaminade, the most points that they've scored in a game this season. And a victory over St. Mary's.
Devin getting hotter and hotter as the season went on, so he's scoring at a good time of year for Chaminade.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. He averaged 24 points a game over the final 4 regular season games going into the playoffs. With 3 to shoot, Williams hoist. Can't stick it. And there's Devin Dillon with the rebound. Gunther picked up by Steve Williams and flips it to the wing. Kyle Dillon spots up from 3. Gets the friendly roll. So a swirl and a fortuitous bounce for the Flyers puts them up 8-4.
Yeah, that rim's got Chaminade's name on it. Really like what Gunther did there. Charging to the net, but then distributing the ball.
A foul after the interception as Steve Williams will pick up his first.
was Devin Dillon trying to move that transition. Looked like he had a lot of space there. So not a bad foul slowing him down and preventing that too.
Kyle Dillon, 9 points against St. Mary's in the semifinals, and was really cooled down, was limited against St. Anthony's on the road, and it's really been Devin Dillon that's been filling the cup. And sometimes you have to remember that Kyle is only a sophomore and that there could be some wall that he's hitting at this juncture in the season.
Yeah, it's a lot to put on the shoulders of that young man. You can also attribute it to teams just kind of wising up and spending a little more energy on him, creating space for his brother as a result.
Yeah, it's not as if they've slowed down Kyle Dillon and that's it. Chaminade went to the wayside. Williams, that's a long three. Raises the rim. Devin Dillon the rebound. 2 rebounds early on. Elliott, extra pass. Gunther slices. Arnone with the slap. Up ahead. Here's Jeremiah Carter to the basket, and Carter finishes.
And I like that Carter made that decision to go all the way down there. Again, St. John the Baptist really taking the time, setting things up. They haven't been shooting until there's about 10 seconds left on the shot clock. So to see him go down there and drive.
Air ball, but Gunther stays with it on the Kyle Dillon miss.
Easy grab there for Arnone.
Arnone from the elbow. 3 minutes to play, opening quarter. Williams, the slice. Steve Williams from 3, can't pop it in. Fourth carom for Kyle Dillon, Devin Dillon. Here's Gunther to the basket, and he scores in transition.
Nice job there by Gunther. I was going to say the rim's not as friendly to St. John's Baptist right now.
Lisbon thought about it, blew a tire, and turned it over. A rare miscue by Lisbon leads to the second turnover of the quarter, and Chaminade will bring on Jack Connolly, the senior from Manhasset. What a story for Jack Connolly and what he's had to go through over the last few years. He broke his leg last year. Then when he was cleared to play, broke his hand again and didn't come back till mid-January. But now he returns wearing number 3 in yellow and red, and a big reason for Chaminade's success come the latter part of the season.
A lot for him to overcome, and he is the first man off the bench. Plays a very good defensive game.
2 minutes to play. Arnone lets it rip and connects.
Wondering when he was going to take that shot. A few times he's possessed that ball and held up on it again with this pacing with St. John's the Baptist as Devin Dillon finishes one there.
Dillon with 4 points early on, and Chaminade leads by 3. Lisbon the kick out, and Williams slows it down. 90 seconds gone by, and Chaminade really hasn't sped up St. John the Baptist. Williams the kick out. Stephen Williams, corner 3, can't connect. The struggles continue from deep for Steve Williams.
I'm trying to figure out exactly how Chaminade can speed it up. There's Connolly making his mark, number 3, popping 3 in. And it'll be a 30-second timeout over here called by St. John's the Baptist.
Well, we'll see again, and Connolly, if you give him some space, he'll knock it down.
Yeah, he had nothing but space and time. Made it look easy, nothing but net there for Connolly.
Well, for Chaminade, they're a team that really doesn't shy away from anybody, right? And a big reason is that they've been in this title game over the last 3 years. Beating St. Mary's in the 21 finals, losing a heartbreaker to Holy Trinity, and then grinds it out. Dan Feeney has the secret sauce in Mineola for Chaminade.
Yeah, he certainly does. And if you take a look at it, this is a team, again, with just a very rich history of winning. And there comes a confidence and a swagger and a trust in the coach when you have that kind of success, winning in 2023 and 2021, hoping to make it 2024 as well. And you can attribute a lot of that to the coach. We've seen it. We saw it in the 2 games that we covered. There's just this calm about him on those sides, on the bench there.
And always a wealth of basketball knowledge, but a fun person to talk to and dissect his team. And it's funny because he'll go on and say, well, this is how I would play us, but that's got to stay between the two of us. And, he knows this team well. It's a brand new team, and that's one of the challenges, too, when you coach at a private school or Chaminade, where you've got tons of seniors year after year. This is probably the, quote, youngest team that he's had, and it's still filled with juniors and seniors. Just not a lot of experience going into their final year. Under a minute to play, and the Flyers lead by 6. Connolly with active hands. Arnone gives it back to Chris Williams. Mid-range jumper, nails it.
Right now, Chris Williams really finding a nice momentum as far as getting those shots off and hitting the twos from the field. Waiting for Big Brother now to pitch in and try to hit some of those threes that he's been attempting.
Yeah, and it was that older brother that caused the turnover. Steve Williams has been held scoreless, but Chris Williams leading the way with 4. And GP Arnone behind with 3 as Carter misfires on a 3.
Yeah, he was real deep there and came up short.
Really Carter's shot. He's only shooting 33% from distance. Final 8 seconds to go, opening quarter. There's Kyle Dillon, the kick out. Devin Dillon a 3. In and out, the tap back and follow falls. Kyle Dillon to Devin Dillon and back to Kyle. And Chaminade opens it up. They lead by 6. Let's take another look. This is exactly how the Dillons drew it up, Rob.
Yeah, goes here to Devin. He takes that shot. Doesn't get the bounce, but Kyle there to clean it up and bounce it off the backboard in the net for 2. And a perfect way for Chaminade to end this, putting another 2 up there, extending that lead to 6 points.
Flyers lead by 6, going to the second on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Jalen Brunson. You're watching Varsity Media.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
On the left.
Welcome you back for the start of the second quarter. And Chaminade with a 17-11 lead over St. John the Baptist. Good crowd on hand as Chaminade this year has been battle-tested. And you look at their resume and out-of-league schedule, playing JFK. I don't know how much of a chance they had against Long Island Lutheran, but a good matchup there. And how about Port Washington getting to the final and St. Raymond and Iona Prep, 2 pillars in the CHSAA, Rob. That helps them this time of year.
Absolutely it does. You don't let those losses fool you. They're playing against some of the best teams that New York has to offer.
Goes to the hardwood. Chris Williams trying to hold on to it. Nobody's calling a timeout or tie-up, and finally a held ball. We'll keep it with the Cougars.
It took a little while there, and Gunther getting a taste of Christian Williams' sneaker while he was down there. So, John, I was asking you in between the quarters about the deliberate nature of this offense right now, St. John's the Baptist. I don't know. I think when you let that shot clock run down, you're putting pressure that you need that one perfect shot, and maybe the slowdown's a little too much right now.
Well, Rob, here's that answer in that Chaminade immediately gets into their offense, and they move so well without the ball that this is how they try and speed St. John the Baptist up. But the defense was sitting for it, and now Chris Williams will bring it up. By the way, a substitution for Chaminade starting the second quarter as Greg Wyckoff comes on. And now it's Lisbon top of the key. Carter, Steve Williams. He's got to hit one eventually. Not that time. Arnone, the offensive rebound, and tussles it away.
It's not getting like the full.
And Lisbon slows it down to Chris Williams.
No, I'm not.
Underneath, Lisbon able to finish. Pretty move by DJ Lisbon.
That whole play looked really nice. Good pass down in there, and Lisbon showing his athleticism by hanging onto the ball and dropping it in for 2.
Jack Connolly hit a 3 in the first quarter. It was only points. Bad pass right into the breadbasket of Steve Williams. Outlet up ahead to Chris Williams. Tries to save it, and he's out of bounds.
So 2 unforced turnovers by Chaminade. Well, they were driving for their offense, and that was very close to being 2 points, but overshot Christian Williams there on the deep pass.
Elliott, the kick out. Devin Dillon. Bingo. First triple for Devin as he's leading the way for Chaminade. 7 points in the opening half. A 20-13 lead for the Flyers.
And right now, Cam Elliott playing more of a passing role, getting that ball moving down there. Hasn't taken any shots himself yet.
Connolly the steal and the bucket.
Nice turnover there, and Connolly takes advantage of it, sprinting to the net. And it's a 9-point lead now for the Flyers.
And that's the game plan for Chaminade, to have their defense start their offense. Williams, offensive foul. It's going to be a moving screen on Arnone, his first, and it's his first of the quarter.
Arnone's pleading his case, but it's not going to do him any good at the moment. Only 2 fouls so far against St. John the Baptist, none against Chaminade. Haven't seen anybody at the free throw line yet.
Devin Dillon the handoff. Connolly in the corner, good ball fake. Pull up pop, money.
Beautiful job there, a little shake and bake. Looked like he was going to go for the 3, took the step and buried 2.
Connolly's got 7. Williams to the basket. High shot doesn't fall. Arnone, good follow, but unable to corral. Snapped up ahead. Here's Elliott to the basket. Floater no good. And Carter able to knock it away.
On that last offensive drive, Christian Williams all by himself. His teammates weren't able to catch up with him, so maybe that's why slowing down the game is a good idea, as we got a timeout here called by St. John the Baptist. And the Flyers have their biggest lead right now at 11. It's 24-13.
Well, St. John the Baptist, it's been a season that has been building over the last 4 years for the Cougars. 20 wins a year ago. They lose a lot from last year, but hey, they've got a chance to do something that last year's team not able to do. Jake Ellis has the program in the right direction.
He certainly does. 20-4, coming off a 13-9 season in that 21-22 season. And they're getting a taste of winning. You know, they know what it's like to win in the regular season, but now they're on the big stage. And Chaminade looks just way too comfortable at the moment with that 11-point lead. St. John's the Baptist playing catch-up. And I guess you can see why the foot race doesn't work out for St. John the Baptist. The last few minutes have been that, and Chaminade's extended the lead.
Chris Williams, 4 points opening half, matched up with Jack Connolly. Kyle Dillon draws the assignment on Stevie Williams. Bust inside over Joe Nouse, not something that's easy to do. Arnone goes up with it, disrupted, and a foul. And that's going to go to Nouse. Joe's first.
Yeah, getting tangled up with Arnone underneath when Arnone was pulling down that rebound. And was on his way back up. Now it's got his way, and we got the first free throws of the game.
And off the mark for GP Arnone. And you see the senior from Melville averaging 5 and 5, and normally an automatic free throw shooter. Missed them both.
Might be harder here in that Hofstra gym, especially when you're staring at Ninja Turtles and Bert and Ernie over there. Chaminade faithful, dressed up in all kinds of different costumes.
Some Cowboys in there as Ricky Gunther duels his way to the basket. He's got 4 in the first half. Arnone only gets the juice back.
Nice bounce pass there to find Arnone. And with his size, he's going to finish those easily, uncontested.
Cam Elliott's been scoreless, but more importantly, he hasn't hoisted a three. Been more Jack Connolly with the ball handling, and there's a foul on the floor. Steve Williams gets called for the reach-in. That's going to be a second. Chris King comes in for GP Arnone. Lisbon draws the assignment on Elliott. King, his hand caught in the cookie jar.
Yeah, Chris King, one of the athletic players on this team. He can get the ball with one hand, maybe create a little more speed on this in this game compared to Arnone.
Jake Ellis calls him the Ben Wallace off the bench, in that he's not going to score, but he'll do everything else. Elliott, good fake, drive to the basket, too strong, and then a foul. Ernest Hamilton III making the call from the wing. As that's going to go to King, and we'll take another look.
Yeah, the feet moving a little bit over there to get that foul.
So 2 quickies on Chris King. Chaminade with a chance to expand their lead to 12.
A real late call on that, too. It was like a delayed. It looked like King thought that he did everything right, but then the feet moving. Get a look at Cam Elliott up on our screen there. 13 points per game, and we've seen Elliott get on fire. He's got a haircut since that picture.
He's been on a journey just like Jack Connolly with the injury bug. Missed 2/3 of the last season with a hip injury. Fell out of the rotation and just never got it back. This year, he's gotten into shape. He's 100% healthy, and big reason why Chaminade was able to pour in 100 points against St. Mary's and be on the cusp of winning 19 games. Ricky Gunther picks up the foul. It'll be Gunther's first. Number 2 for the Flyers.
Yeah, one of the things Coach Feeney did say about Cam Elliott is that he had some hesitancy shooting. You really want to see him do that because he's a talented shooter. So, see if Cam gets hot in this game at some point.
Carter flips to King and receives it back. Pull up, that's a 2, air ball.
Wait, we're in the second quarter?
Gunther, quick hitter, bingo. It's raining threes for the Flyers. Ricky Gunther gets in the action. That's the 4th triple of the half for Chaminade as they lead by a game-high 15.
And they're coming from all different players today.
Williams inside. And they'll go to the free throw line.
What's going on now?
And that's the call, and it's going to be Nouse's second.
Me?
I thought they were looking at Kyle Dillon on the foul. But Big Joe Nouse now is going to take a seat with 2 fouls. And that's going to bring in Jack Connolly, who we discussed, good on the defensive side of the ball and great in the transition.
Chris Williams hits the second. Chris Williams only a junior and has been garnering Division II interest, and we'll see what offers he has at the end of this year, but a big summer upcoming for Williams on the AAU circuit. Travel. The half.
And that was an easy call to make. Elliott knew that he traveled the minute that whistle blew. No argument from him.
Williams, the blow by to the basket, denied. Jack Connolly with the rejection. Good ball movement up front, and Lisbon's got his own block.
Nice job there by Lisbon.
He met Gunther at the summit, and here's Steve Williams. Williams the drive inside, flips it up, no good. Arnone the offensive rebound, up and under, puts it in.
It's starting to feel like The St. John's the Baptist players are trying to do it by themselves now. A little less passing going on. You've seen Christian Williams a couple times just take the ball, drive to the net. So Steve do it that time. Body language is starting to shift out there for them, and you hope that they're able to compose themselves and get back to that team ball.
Kyle Dillon called for the travel as Greg Wyckoff, the sophomore from Levittown, comes on to add some size for the Flyers. Under 90 seconds to play opening half. Williams. Here's Carter with the left hand, acrobatic finish.
Nice work there by Carter to show that athleticism that we talked about earlier.
The answer back, Devin Dillon dials it in.
This Flyer team doesn't want to give the Cougars any hope at all. Every time something good happens on one end, it feels like a three-pointer comes on the other side.
Williams, the answer back, curls out. Kyle Dillon. Here's Elliott. He'll fire. Air ball. Track for the rebound, and St. John the Baptist a hold for one.
And it feels like this is a really important drive for the Cougars to go into that second half with some kind of positivity, some kind of momentum.
Chris Williams taking the air out of the ball. Williams with 5. Drives. Foul on the floor. The 4th team foul against the Flyers. He's going to go to Wyckoff, his first. 4 seconds to play, opening half. Lisbon into Carter, fall away 3, in and out. Lisbon the offensive rebound, can't beat the buzzer. And Chaminade will go to the second half with a 12-point lead over St. John the Baptist. Here at Hofstra, and Rob, you couldn't have drawn it up any better for Chaminade as they take a 12-point lead.
Right now, I feel like St. John's the Baptist is almost struggling with their identity. Things just aren't going their way. They were playing the game really slow to begin with and then tried speeding it up, and things not working out for them at the moment.
We're now joined by the head coach, Dan Feeney, and 12-point lead going into the locker room. Dan, overall, your thoughts on the first half?
Grinded it out. It's a different environment, obviously, in a playoff game, and I thought our guys were prepared early. Defensively, we've been a lot better in the last few games, which is good, and they want to keep the pace a little slower. We want to pick it up. 33-21 at halftime is decent. We also know how we start halves in the first half, and the first 4 minutes of this third quarter are going to be big for us.
What do you want to see out of your team in the second half? Any adjustments? You know that you're probably going to get the biggest punch from SJB coming up.
Yeah, just take what they're giving us. So they're giving Devin threes. Devin will score 20 points this half. We're good with that, and we'll play through him. So he doesn't even have to score, but we're not a one-man show. So they want to pick a guy to slough off of. We'll use that guy to our advantage.
All right, Dan. Well, thanks for the time. Go get him. That's Dan Feeney, the head coach for the Chaminade Flyers. A 12-point lead going into the half here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs or call 516-403-2050. When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part. Your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media. Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level. Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/varsitymedia. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
Varsity Media is offering a video folder that you can customize to meet your needs. A photo of your athlete can be elegantly placed in the front panel. Essential statistics with a biography can be printed on the inside panel, and videos can be downloaded and viewed on an LCD screen for as long as 2 hours. The attractive video folder can be placed on a coffee table and instantly becomes a conversation starter. Order your video folder today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click Catalogs, or give us a call at 516-403-2050. Looking to grow your business on social media? Let Varsity Media help you. With over 50,000 followers across our platform, sponsor a segment during the broadcast and share it on social media the next day. It's the best of both worlds, as you'll get thousands of plays and your ad will live on the broadcast forever. Contact us today for sponsorship packages by calling 917-470-0864 or emailing varsitymediasponsors@gmail.com. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
We're back here at Hofstra, and Chaminade with a dominating first half. They lead it by 12 alongside Rob Anderson. I'm John Perez. This is the 23-24 NSCHSAA final. The winner moves on to the semifinal Friday night to take on the winner of Bishop Timon or Monsignor McClancy, and then they'll play on Sunday. So this is a huge semifinal round from a state perspective. But Rob, Chaminade playing like the champions that they are.
Yeah, they've had that run. Again, they trounced on St. Mary's to get here. And we heard Coach Feeney said, you know, whatever they give us, we're going to take. And right now it's three-pointers from Devin and three-pointers from Naus. Their three-pointers are flying all over the place. And again, I feel like St. John the Baptist just struggling with their identity. They were at a snail's pace in the first quarter, slowing it down, up against the shot clock constantly. Then when they sped up the game, it felt like it was a one-man show, like everybody's just trying to do it themselves. They got to get back to that team mentality and maybe just pick up that pace a little bit compared to what it was in the first quarter.
Yeah, so a lot of work to do for St. John the Baptist. Chaminade was in cruise control as we get ready for the start of the second half. Ricky Gunther to inbound it for the Flyers, looking to go back-to-back for the first time in the NSCHSAA since the 2010 and 2011 seasons when St. Mary's won consecutive titles.
Yeah, it feels like the Cougars need to just go back to instinct basketball. They're overthinking it.
Good ball fake now. Hit a three in the first quarter. Short on the three. And Arnone rips the rebound away from Kyle Dillon.
The big man wanted that one. A little two-step and then got the ball off, but short of that three. Nice move, though, huh?
No, he's got some good handles as here's Steve Williams. He was held scoreless in the first half and earns the foul.
That's Naus' third. And it was that one little step back. He had his feet planted. It looked good. But then when Williams moved forward, he took that step back and he got caught there.
It's a commitment to take a charge, right? And that's why coaches love it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Williams, it's been a tough go for the senior from North Babylon. 61% free throw shooter, and Jake Ellis has told him over the last few weeks, you're due for one. You're due for a big game. Well, he's hoping to have a big half out of one of his backcourt mates.
Yeah, he's going to need a big half. And he plays lot of minutes in that first half.
Well, and they all do. St. John the Baptist, a team that only goes 6 deep, and as the playoffs go on, it's going to stay that way. Now triggers a 3, no good. Kyle Dillon goes to the deck. Might have been a hold on Chris Williams, but either way, here comes St. John the Baptist into the front court.
Yeah, Coach Feeney's wide-eyed on the sideline there, still shaking his head, looking for a foul.
Chris Williams picks up the dribble. Now it's Steve Williams, 1v1 with Devin Dillon. Arnone the screen. Williams inside, denied. How about that, Rob? With 3 fouls in all, Joe Nouse using the verticality.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, and Williams got up, and he was upset by it. Take a look. Nouse jumping up with him, keeping the hands straight. Stevie Williams not happy with it.
One and done go the Cougars. Tic-tac-toe, corner 3, it's Gunther. Driving inside. And a foul away from the basketball. And that's going to go to Jeremiah Carter, his first and the team's first of the quarter.
Chaminade running a clinic on the ball fakes. They are deking the Cougars left and right.
Devin Dillon off to Joe Nouse. Backdoor cut. And
ball had eyes. Found Gunther's hand there.
Seriously. And good drive to the basket as he goes baseline. That's Kyle Dillon. Down 7 points.
Nice job there. Looked like he was going to go under. And he stuck on that side and got the airtime and just floated that sucker in.
Chris Williams. Scoop to the basket. Too strong. And it's all breaking for Chaminade.
Now asserting himself, like you said, with 3 fouls. Still lining up. Taking another 3. His 3rd in a row. Unsuccessful.
Rob, it's got to be a balancing act when you got a big like Nouse who can dominate inside and he starts to fall in love with his 3.
Yeah, well, he hit the first one for the opening scoring for the Flyers was that 3-pointer. But, yeah, 3 in a row missed. And
Carter fall away. Pretty finish.
11-point cushion, but you don't want to see it dwindle because you're missing 3s.
Carter had 15 against St. Anthony's. He's got 6 tonight. He's getting more playing time because Jaden Miller broke his thumb and has been out since Valentine's Day. And a good scoop. And that's Devin Dillon. 3rd shot on the interior as he leads the way with 12 points.
Yeah, sweet move there by Devin to keep his composure and just roll that ball in.
What's the matter with it? Like, overexposed or something?
And that's short. By Carter.
Yeah, look like Jeremiah Carter. It looked like he was going to, again, work the perimeter and make a pass. He saw a lane, took it, and missed. Missed the layup.
Elliott looking for his first 3. Can't stick it. Gunther the follow.
Gunther showing his speed and his hands there by collecting that ball and putting it in the net. Real nice job by Gunther.
And he's been really impressive, too, in doing the little things. And today he's being awarded offensively.
Yeah, he's another one of those players that are necessary to winning teams. Just tenacious.
Steve to Chris Williams. Extra pass. Carter free on a 3. Too strong, and St. John the Baptist can't throw it in the ocean. Gunther. There's Williams going do-si-do with him. Chris Williams picks up his first. With a 2nd team foul for St. John the Baptist as Greg Wyckoff returns. Gets his first appearance in the second half. And Chris King comes on for GP Arnone.
Yeah, I think he's looking for some speed there. Getting King back in the game. I saw Coach Ellis imploring his team to get back after the offensive miss.
Foul before the pass.
That's on DJ Lisbon. His first of the game.
Head fake. Devin Dillon will head to the line. Sometimes I feel like the Dillon's parents, right? And I'm not sure if you had this but I'm a product of siblings, so my mother and father would confuse me and my brother all the time.
Yeah, we had that. I'm the older brother, though, so I feel like my name was called more, and I was always in trouble, so I think my brother probably got called Robert more than I got called Kenneth.
You and me both.
That foul, by the way, the third on Chris King.
Bayside native hits them both.
Yeah, Devin Dillon not wasting that opportunity.
Point edge for for Chaminade over SJB. Chris Williams penetrates, throws it up, earns the foul.
That one's going to be up against Wyckoff. He had his back turned to Williams. He just kind of threw his hands up there flailing at it, so it's going to send Williams to the line.
Williams off the heel on the freebie.
So we got Jack Connolly coming in the game, maybe to create a little bit more of a frenetic pace right now. Cam Elliott doing again the little things, but nothing on the scoreboard yet.
Williams an empty trip, and you're right about Connolly. Hit a three the second that he stepped on the floor in the first half, and finished first 2 quarters with 7 points.
It's a luxury for Coach Feeney to be able to ride hot hands and just sub guys in and out.
Up and under, doesn't fall for Wyckoff. Gunther, not that time. SJB needs a bucket in the worst way. They've gotten open shots, and Lisbon connects.
Finally landed one of those threes. A lot of attempts weren't working, so you saw them driving the net a little bit more.
Three ball off the mark by Kyle Dillon. Ricky Gunther to the cup. At that time, Lisbon with a rejection.
Definitely looked like Gunther thought there'd be a call there. But nothing brewing, and the steal the other way, Connolly.
And it's a 2-on-1. Connolly to the basket, denied by Carter with the follow. And that's Ricky Gunther, who's starting to cook. He's got 11 points for the Flyers.
Yeah, a couple times, too. It's been cleaning up messes. He just kind of drives in from out of nowhere and gets the rebounds.
Chris to Steve Williams. Not that time. Out of bounds. It'll stay with SJB, 34 to shoot. As GP Arnone returns along with Cam Elliott.
While rebounds aren't really part of Gunther's game, it's his speed and athleticism that's giving him those opportunities and the opportunities to finish.
Lisbon, quick hitter, banks it in. 9 for Lisbon, home run pass up ahead, and Kyle Dillon scores. 9 points for Kyle Dillon. Only a sophomore, and he's going to take the NSCHSAA by storm. You can lock that in for the next 2 years.
Yeah, he's going to be a fun player to watch, and
Carter not too shabby as well. He's fun to watch, especially when he's hitting his threes.
And he looks like he's feeling a little bit more confident. What happened there?
They're just going to ask you that.
Defensive breakdown. Connolly just all alone. And now this is the thing that I think Coach Ellis doesn't want happening, is we score and we can't get back on defense.
And you have to wonder how much of a fatigue factor that is for St. John the Baptist too. And it's not as if they're huffing and puffing, but you have to imagine a toll both physically and mentally that it takes on you to go through these playoffs and have your backs against the wall against Chaminade.
Yep, and down in double digits for quite a while now.
Williams finally hits a free throw.
Yeah, it looks like the coaching staff over on the side of St. John the Baptist trying to tell their players how to get back on defense and conserve some energy.
these kids are up here.
Chris Williams has 7.
That's exactly what it is. They're right next to
Chaminade up by 13 with under a minute remaining in this third quarter. Time is on their side.
Jack Connolly's had himself a good game. Elliott, corner 3, bingo. First triple for the senior from Amityville, averaging 13 points a game. And the Flyers go up 16, 3-second differential between game and shot clock.
You see how easy Elliott makes it look when he does connect. Sets up in that corner and nothing but net on the 3. And that's a backbreaker right there for the Cougars. They desperately need to put something on the board at the end of this quarter.
Well, interesting, Rob, that they're electing to bring the time all the way down. Williams with 2 seconds. Reverse layup, that's good. And now time winding down. We'll see if Chaminade get the shot off. They don't. There's a little momentum for St. John the Baptist, but it's been all Chaminade. They lead it by 14 thanks to the good ball movement. As the Dillons get involved, and Connolly. Good swing, and there's your boy Elliott.
Yeah, look at that ball. Perfect. Right in the net. And not what St. John the Baptist wants to see. Another Flyer getting hot with the 3.
Fourth quarter coming up next.
Hey, it's Isaiah Hartenstein. You're watching Varsity Media.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Welcome you back for the start of the fourth quarter, and it's been a good crowd for SJB. They just haven't had a lot to cheer about, and that's because of Chaminade and what they've been able to do, just dominating in all facets of the game. And now they're starting to hit their 3, Robs. They're playing like champions tonight.
Yeah, the student body doing everything they can over there with that red wave, trying to get their Cougars amped for the game. But right now it is the Flyers in control. Again, double digits through most of this game. Up by 14 starting the fourth quarter. And St. John the Baptist really up against it now. They need to figure something out here. But the slowdown didn't work. The speed game's not working.
Well, perhaps there's one more trick up the sleeve of Ellis. And here's Carter. Jeremiah Carter off the screen, and now to Chris Williams, the leading scorer for SJB. Fall away Jay, no good. And here comes Chaminade.
Nifty little spin move, just couldn't convert.
Kyle Dillon, the drive and a foul on the floor. And Dillon will head to the line as Chris Williams picks up the foul. That's his second and team's first of the quarter.
Not much foul trouble on either side. It's Nouse has 3 coming into the fourth. Chris King has 3 coming into the fourth, but otherwise not too bad. And just as I speak, Stephen Williams collects his third on a shove, an unnecessary shove.
That's the thing with Williams when he's defending well. It's usually physically, and as an official, it's always, do you blow the whistle or not? And in that case, they did.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty blatant right in the middle of the court. Oh, boy.
That one obvious as well. A charge. Chris Williams draws it on Cam Elliott as Elliott picks up number 1. Take another look, Rob.
Yeah, Elliott gets up in the air, and it looked like he got a little help on that drive. But it's going to go the way of the Cougars.
Steve Williams, the drive inside, deflected. Loose ball as Kyle Dillon scoops it up. Gunther, good ball fake, lets it fly. Off the heel, and one and done go the Flyers.
Yeah, Gunther had a lot of space there, couldn't get the ball in the net, and that creates, never mind.
It's a 3-on-0, all the way to the basket. Devin Dillon, fundamental, and the deuce.
Yeah, Dillon wisely taking it down all by himself there. He didn't need to make any passes, that 3-0. And that 3-0 is indicative of what now is going on in this game. St. John's Baptist just not able to keep up and get to the other end of the court.
14 points now for Dillon as Lisbon airballs a 3.
If you're not hitting the ball, you're not scoring, you're going to get killed on the other side.
Ricky Gunther, a little too much mustard on that pass as he overshoots the 5'10 senior in Elliott.
And you see, zero frustration on the face of any of these Flyers players. That ball intended for Elliott, way over his head, and it was like nothing happened. He just comes back, and it's like, no problem. Let's just keep this game going.
Also helps when you're up 16.
Yeah, it's calm and cool. That's their demeanor.
Steve Williams attacks on Naus, draws the foul.
And that foul's going to get called against Devin Dillon, which is good news for Joe Naus.
Yeah, because for Devin, that's his first, and Naus, who's sitting on 3 personals. And here's Steve Williams at the free throw line, the senior from Northport. 61% free throw shooter and misses the first one. Hits the second.
So Chaminade now using some time. So when they find the space, taking advantage of it. And Devin Dillon just continues to put points up on the board.
Yeah, 16 now, a game high. And it's been basically the month of Devin Dillon. And there's Lisbon and 1. We saw him pour 25 points on the board against St. John the Baptist on Valentine's Day. As here's Lisbon rolling to the hoop. Foul against Naus, his 4th.
Yeah, not a lot of movement by Naus, but called nonetheless. And we get a look at DJ Lisbon.
Money on the free throw. Elliott skies to catch the pass. Whip to the corner. Dillon to Wyckoff and Elliott. 3 minutes gone by, 4th quarter. The lane opens up for Cam Elliott. He's got 5.
There's a lot of space down there now offensively for Chaminade to move and weave in and out. They've taken advantage of those lanes. Going to see a lot more Wyckoff now in this 4th quarter with Naus with 4 fouls. And you see the frustration of the Cougars. They're saying it was should be their ball right now. Last touch Chaminade, but Chaminade's going to have possession.
Well, here's Jack Connolly, the senior from Manhasset.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say Baptist playing in a man now.
We'll see if that stops Gunther, but not much is doing so. Gunther, the second Flyer in double figures. He's got 13, and here's Williams. Goes up a wild shot. Trying to draw the foul and might have hurt himself in the process. Chaminade's got the numbers advantage, and here's Wyckoff to the basket. And puts it in. And concern now on the side of the bench for St. John the Baptist, as Williams is shaken up. And you see him in front of the bench, and
Yeah, they thought it was a full timeout. It's an official's timeout. So can't be getting up and walking on the court.
Yeah, so there he is sitting down, rolling his calf. And you're right, yeah, it could be a cramp, and we'll see how long he's out for. But because of the timeout, he has to come out. Steve Williams on the interior and is fouled. Midway point of the fourth quarter.
That one's called against Wyckoff. Now he's got 3, so between the two big men on this Flyer squad, Wyckoff with 3 and Nouse with 4. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Williams asserting himself a little bit more, trying to draw more fouls.
Yeah. Chris Williams will head back to the scorer's table, so a good sign for SJB. Second free throw. Right on the money. Chris Williams comes on for Chris King. Well, they've had a lot to celebrate on that Chaminade supporter side. See if they're in full force here on Saturday for the New York State Catholic League title. And they're coming up at 1 o'clock on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and we'll have a ton of games that whole day. So if you got nothing going on Saturday, and it's supposed to be rain in the forecast, so sit down, watch some basketball, punctuated with what should be Chaminade if they hold on for the final 3:30. Corner 3. Not that time for Kyle Dillon. Fight for the rebound. How about Wyckoff hitting the floor? He and Arnone, who wants it more? And a timeout taken by the Flyers. Gotta love the hustle by Chaminade.
I don't even know how that ball squirted out and wound up in somebody's hand, but the timeout called by Feeney. We'll take a look at it here. And that ball just squirting around after that 3. And you can see the battle Gunther on the floor, Wyckoff on the floor, and then somehow that ball pops out into the hands of Devin Dillon, but the timeout called.
And while we have a break here, how about a little trivia time? Here, Rob Anderson. We'll take a look. And all right, so 3 clues here for those of you playing at home. St. John the Baptist, class of 2018. So now this is where you have to play the name game. From West Islip to the West Coast, catch this. Give the audience a few seconds. All right, you got any guesses?
I feel like this guy might have a halo hanging over his head.
And he does indeed. It is Logan Ohapi, now one of the starting catchers for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He'll get a lot more opportunity now that Shohei Ohtani's out of the lineup. He and Mike Trout and the rest of the crew, and we'll see what they do in the American League West this year. But how about the representation of Long Island now on the left coast as well? And hey, who says baseball's dead in New York?
No, you
New
got
York's not a baseball state.
No, it's not. It's not. But Logan Ohapi making us proud, and you know, it was an unfortunate injury last year that stopped his season midway. He did get back at the end, but he was on a tear when he came up. So, getting your Logan Ohapi jerseys ready, repping Long Island.
Heavy defense by Jeremiah Carter with Chaminade leading by 18, 3:10 to play in regulation. Lisbon with the steal, and Lisbon the tomahawk jam. Could feel the frustration on that dunk for Lisbon.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was like a little anger. He wasn't, just throwing his hands up in the air. He wanted that one, using his size and athleticism, take it out on the ball.
Lisbon, heavy defense on Devin Dillon. What could be the final game of DJ Lisbon's student-athlete career at St. John the Baptist.
Chaminade putting on a passing clinic now.
Elliott off the mark. Arnone is fouled as he was going up for the rebound. And the foul's going to go against the Flyers. Kyle Dillon picks up his first. And the team's 5th, so this will put SJB on the line. Well, to make a comeback, Rob, you have to start creating opportunities, and For every foul going forward, Cougars will have a shot.
As long as they hit the shot. So we'll see if Arnone can convert, and he does. One. I mean, I guess that's one way to do it now. They've tried a lot of other methods. The threes weren't landing. They have been drawing fouls, though. This fourth quarter, they've done a good job at that.
Arnone, the senior from Melville. Good size, good footwork. Doesn't light up the stat sheet, but what you need in a team that's going to make a deep playoff run. Carter, the tie-up. And should give it possession to the Flyers. Chaminade takes over, 2:24 to play in the fourth.
And the Flyers switching it up defensively now, getting Chris King back in there. $15-point lead here for Chaminade as we start getting into that 2-minute mark.
Well, for St. John the Baptist, they're going to have to foul and try and stop the clock as well. And the third team fouls, it goes to Lisbon. His second.
He said right now 5 against Chaminade, so it's in the bonus for the Cougars.
Connolly. Williams, he applies the foul. Tried to foul Connolly before. Finally, the call's made. Williams picks up his third. Take it away.
Wow.
Here's Carter all alone, and he'll put it in with a couple of hands.
Like a flash out of nowhere. Looked like Steve Williams was trying to get involved in there, and then out of nowhere.
Dillon swings it, corner. Gunther pulls up and knocks it in. Second triple for Gunther.
I'm a little confused. Didn't you think they were fouling on purpose?
That's what I thought was going to happen, but that's what you have to tell the officials. Lisbon leaving it all out on the floor. Timeout by Jake Ellis. Well, it hasn't been the defensive clinic for DJ Lisbon so far in this game, but just want to show his efforts and a big reason why St. John the Baptist has gotten here. And just look at the last 3 opponents that he's had in the playoffs. He's been locked down Lisbon.
He has been locked down. He kept Justin Brown to what he normally does at 14, but Kevin Moore to 7 points is quite a feat. And again, it's his contribution to this team that's gotten them here today. He's got his hands full with this Chaminade team, but Lisbon, a fantastic playoff.
Devin Dillon, the leading scorer for Chaminade. He's averaging 12.8 points a game. He's got 16 tonight. But Lisbon has had to deal with not just Devin Dillon, but Ricky Gunther and the rest of the Flyers offense, and just a tall task for the SJB wing.
Sure, he can only cover one at a time, and the Flyers coming out of every which way to get scoring up on the board. And I got to think that right now Coach Ellis is probably going to tell them to start going to the line, getting those intentional fouls. They've got 4, 1 away from the bonus. But it's going to be a real uphill battle for St. John the Baptist. It feels like Chaminade will be winning this game and moving on.
1:20 to play, and we see a press from St. John the Baptist. Kyle Dillon. As both Williams go after him, and Lisbon finally called for the foul. They're able to wipe 9 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, that foul took longer than I thought it would, but Lisbon wrapping up Dillon. And Kyle is a guy that you want at the line.
And why not? And a lot of teams are going to want him presumptively at the next level. Let's see where he translates. Only a sophomore, but a good shooter, and we'll see as he grows as well.
An easy 2-2. Joe Naus checked back in the game to create some trouble down low. He's got 4 fouls.
now 11 points for Kyle Dillon. Williams a 3, too strong. Long rebound, Kyle Dillon, and he's bumped by Lisbon.
And Lisbon didn't want to commit that foul. Looks like he's a little upset with it.
Well, either way, that's going to do it. And the ovation now is for John Stanko, the senior from New Hyde Park, as he'll check in at the scorer's table. Stanko, a crowd favorite, and he comes on for the Flyers.
Maybe coach wants to keep his scoring streak going. St. Mary's, he put up 3, got in that game in that route. So maybe get Stanko on the stat sheet in the final.
We'll see Stanko in a second, 14 in yellow, and now St. John the Baptist is going to empty their bench. And what a season it was for St. John the Baptist, getting to the final. They're going to come up short, but a lot to build on for this Cougars crew, as that ends the career of GP Arnone. Chris Williams heads to the bench, DJ Lisbon as well. Good effort and a good season, Rob, and unfortunately just not able to get it done this year.
Yeah, and you can see the agonies of defeat on their faces there.
So
Steve Williams especially taking it hard over there.
So for SJB, it's Gavin Healy, James Coromilius in there as well, and Ethan Rosenfeld, senior from Ridge. And now I think all the Chaminade crowd wants is Stanko to take a shot. He's creeping in the corner, and we'll see if that happens. 8-second differential between game and shot clock, and here's Jack Connolly. Off to Stanko. It's a 3. In and out. One last chance for St. John the Baptist. Here's Healy. He's a senior as well. Cornelius, another senior. Off the treetops, out of bounds. And one quick note too, Rob. This is the last game for a lot of the bench players for St. John the Baptist, and these guys on the floor now. A big reason why St. John the Baptist was good because of how they pushed the starting 5 in practice all year long. But that's not how it'll end. Chaminade goes back-to-back champions of the NSCHSAA. They knock off St. John the Baptist 66-49.
And Chaminade in control of this game from the beginning to the end. It looked like all the plans that the Cougars had in their pocket just didn't work out for them. They had a great season and a superb playoff. And a lot of tears over there for that hard work that they did, but there's a bright future on that St. John the Baptist side and a really bright future for Chaminade.
Chaminade was able to get it done. Devin Dillon leading the way. He and Ricky Gunther each with 16 points. Kyle Dillon right behind with 13 points as Chaminade finished with 3 double-figure scorers. Meanwhile, the high man for the Cougars, and that's going to be DJ Lisbon as he's got 9. And so Chaminade getting ready to celebrate, and Flyer faithful very pleased tonight and moving on to the state finals this Saturday afternoon. So we'll carry the trophy ceremony here at Hofstra, and for St. John the Baptist will receive the runner-up trophies, and overall a great season for St. John the Baptist. They'll finish 14-12, but they did it with 6 guys, dealt with injuries, a valiant effort. There's just too much Chaminade this season.
Yeah, Chaminade has been dominant, and again, like you said, they've met him 3 times, and a good showing by St. John the Baptist. It seemed like they were really, again, struggling to find their identity. It was the beginning of the game. They were playing really slow paced. That was part of the game plan, but they weren't able to convert too often, and then just a little too little too late. And Lisbon with those 9 points, it was, those dunks and steals late in the game. So for that St. John the Baptist team, a great effort. Again, a great season. But Chaminade just too much to deal with, too much scoring from too many different guys.
So with that, it looks like the presentation should be starting momentarily. We'll send it down to John Santamaria for the announcements.
We would like to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's game. Congratulations to the Chaminade Flyers. They will advance to the states here at Hofstra University on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. We hope to see you there. We'd like to thank everybody for a wonderful season in the Catholic League. And we will see you next season.
Welcome you back to Hofstra alongside Rob Anderson. I'm John Perez. Chaminade, champions for the second straight year. First time that any team has done that 2 years in a row. We're being joined by the MVP himself, Mr. Devin Dillon. Just a smooth 16 points in a championship effort. Devin, congratulations on the victory. I know that this was a goal at the beginning of the year. Now that you've accomplished it, your feelings?
Amazing. Best feeling in the world. Went back to back, first time in program's 30 years, and 30 years in the program's history. Nothing better.
Yeah, Devin, I feel like we've talked to you quite a bit already. Yeah. Talk about you getting hot at the end of the season. Your points per game have gone up. What happened?
Team trusted me. All the guys on the team trusted me to score, turn a score, and got a ring out of it. So.
What does it mean to you and the rest of this crew, knowing that this is the first time in 30 years you guys go back-to-back? How much pride do you have in being a Chaminade Flyer, and what goes into putting on that uniform every day?
I'm proud to represent it. Rest of my life I'll be coming to these guys' games. Yeah, I love it here.
Well, you've got the states next. I'd imagine the job's not finished. What do you guys have to do to get it done and bring a state title back to Mineola?
Focus up, a few good days of practice, and then last game of the year, Saturday. We'll be ready.
All right, they will be ready, and we'll have that on the Varsity Media Sports Network as well. Devin Dillon, congratulations. We'll let you go celebrate.
Congratulations.
That's Devin Dillon, the MVP of the championship game, looking to bring a state title back to Chaminade. And they'll face the winner of Bishop Timon or Monsignor McClancy right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network on Saturday. So that'll do it for our coverage of the 23-24 NSCHSAA Championship. For our executive producer, Ben Turchin, Tony DeMasso giving you the moving images, Chris Sweeney's our technical director. For my partner, Rob Anderson, this is John Perez saying so long from Hofstra University. This has been a presentation of the NSCHSAA Boys Basketball Final on your home for the state finals, the Varsity Media Sports Network.